Good afternoon. This is Debbie Broughton, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Robert, Missouri. I want to thank you so much for joining me this afternoon for my day 2 of the 12 days of Christmas. And as usual, I am crooked because I don't leave everything set up from day to day. A little bit, still just a little bit crooked. See if I can get it without going too crooked the other way. If you're here and watching, if you could leave me a comment, that would be great. I love to see when people are watching. I want to let you know that today, yeah, that's pretty straight, that today they've updated the last chance list with a lot of the retiring things from the winter mini catalog, so you might want to go check that out. It's always a good time to save. And our product of the month started today with some beautiful blue DSP. You could check, I posted that on my Nana Stampin' Room page, so you can look at that and read all the details about how you can get that pack of paper for $5. But today we're going to make a card using, let me get the stamp set out here so I can show you, Jar of Joy. I've done a whole bunch of different cards with this set, and so they're going to be sprinkled in the 12 days of Christmas cards. So you have to get a jar, some cookies to put in your jar, some ornaments, a snowman, some snow, and the words are, may your heart be filled with joy, sending a joy full of cheer and wishing you the sweetest Christmas. So let's get started. Again, I had an extra piece of the DSP, so I'm decorating the envelopes this year. This one I cut just a little bit too short, so what I did is I just cut off some of the flap of the envelope there. But it still looks great. All right. So here's all our pieces. Before we get started, I wrote out the measurements for everything that I'm using today. And I have them here. This is card number 2. And I'm just going to kind of hold this here in case you wanted to take a snapshot of the screen. That way you'll be able to reproduce the card. I didn't write down all the direction and everything, just kind of the measurements and some of the dies that I used. And I'm just going to keep, this is my notebook that I keep my directions in. So I'm just going to, I know here's from yesterday's card in case you missed that one. Okay, so let's get started. Here's our cherry cobbler piece, which is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, a normal cardstock, a normal card base. And then I'm gonna burnish it with my bone folder. And we're not gonna really do any embossing or anything on this green because it just shows a slight border, so I could go ahead and glue this down. I like to use the mono adhesive glue because it gives me time to move it after I place it down, because I don't always get it straight the first time. Sometimes I'm lucky. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to take, this is the Silent Snowfall DSP. Well, it's not really DSP because it's thick like cardstock, but I hope you could see. I don't know if they show it very well on the camera, but there's little snowflakes embossed in here. Yeah, if I'm looking at my laptop, you can't really see them very well, but they're there. So what I'm going to do with this piece, which I forgot to do with that piece, is I am just going to take my Wink of Stella and I am going to shimmer this paper. And Wink of Stella does not show well on the video either. This one seems I have like 3 Wicked Stellas here, and 2 of them are getting pretty empty. So let's see about this one. Yeah, I think this one's better. And I just kind of want to just add a little bit of sparkle to the snowflakes. Now if I hold this up just right, I can see the sparkle here, but I know that it really doesn't show up on the video very well. So I'm going to adhere this piece in place. It's going to go on the right hand side of the green. Oh, you know what? Maybe let me just see something. Oh. I think I might have made this go all the way from the top to the bottom of the green. Which this one I cut 1/4 of an inch shorter. But and then we're going to take this is the Season of Elegance paper, which we had last year, but it came back again for this year. And now I'm pretty sure when I looked at it this morning that it is either low inventory or not available right now until they get more in there. So there we are. Now we have our card front finished, except for how we're going to decorate it. This goes in the inside. That goes on the envelope. This goes on the inside. I went ahead and already stamped and embossed this so you didn't have to wait for me to run over to my embossing station and do that. This is Spotlight on Nature, and this is Stylish Shapes. Here's my cherry cobbler ribbon. Oh, which is supposed to go across there, and I've already glued it down. Let's see if I can. Oh, I think I might have already gotten it down too hard. See, here's another reason why you have. Okay, we'll fix it. We'll just make it go across the front like this and trim it off. Sometimes I have to remember to look at my card when I'm making these online because I get ahead of myself. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to take some glue dots. Let me find my glue dots. And I'm going to take my Pick-a tool here. You know, I've had this Pick-a tool so long, for some reason, sometimes this one doesn't want to lock in. And I'm just going to pick off a glue dot here. And let's see if this has gold on both sides. Yes, this looks like one of the shiny sides, so we're going to turn the dull side up. And we're just going to add a couple of glue dots to this ribbon. When I put them on the Pick-a tool like this, I can kind of squish them around so that they're not as big as usual, and they'll fit easier on the ribbon. So let's try this. Oh, and one of my glue dots already came off of my hand. So let me get another one because now I messed that one all up. Yeah, when I try to show this, it doesn't always work out as nicely as it does when I'm here all by myself. So I'm going to lay this where I want it, kind of in the middle. And I got this glue dot here too far over, so we're going to pick it off. Maybe. We're going to kind of try to move it just a little bit further in. I think that might have worked. Okay, so we're going to put one right down here at the edge of the paper so that it'll be sure and catch the edge of the ribbon. There we go. Okay, this ribbon is a ribbon that doesn't fray easy, so it'll be fine to do this with. I just want to get it straight. There we go, and I can trim off this edge. Find my ribbon scissors. I'll trim it right there. I'll move my trash can. So there we go. We fixed it. There's always a way to fix cards in stamping, because we never make a mistake. We just find more reasons to use more embellishments. Okay. Now I must have got a glue dot. I did. Somehow I got a glue dot on my glass mat. I'm going to have to try to get that off, or I'm going to be sticking the card to it for the rest of the time. Okay. There we go. It kind of tore my cardstock a little bit there, but I think it'll be fine. So now we're ready to stamp the jar. So I have this piece of scrap paper here. Now I tried this and I don't know if it's going to work, and if it doesn't, I'll get another piece of scrap to do it on. But I decided, since I was doing the snowman and the jar, maybe I could do them both at the same time. So we're going to see if that's going to work. I'm not sure it will. Oh, it's not going to. It's too hard to get to the snowman because he's down like inside the jar, so you can't get his edges. So we're going to carefully peel him off. It was just a thought I had when I was setting up the stamps. I'm using Memento Black for this. And I need 2 of them. I'm going to put this up here because I need to leave room, because the punch is going to punch out the lid also. Okay, so there we go with that. Now we need to put the snowman on. Let me get another block. Hold on. I got this new block holder from Country Hive, and it holds your blocks, but sometimes, because I have long nails, it's hard for me to get them in there and get them out. Okay, eventually out comes the block. Now I think since I'm going to stamp the snowman separate, I'm going to do my snow in the background first, which I'm going to use some cloud cover for, because it's just a perfect kind of like a bluish gray for snowflakes. And I have the snowflake stamp from the stamp set on here. And I'm just going to kind of fill in the top with some snow. You'll have to excuse my dog. lately he's been barking. We have new neighbors next door, and I think they also have a dog. And so sometimes he starts barking, and I'm wondering, I can hear the other dog outside barking. So I guess he's answering him. So there we are with our snow. Now we'll stamp the snowman. Sorry if I got my head in the picture. I'm just trying to do this where I can be sure I'm placing them pretty much towards the bottom. There he is. He's got some snowflakes on him, but that's okay. And there's my other one. If you want to, you could try to not get your snowflakes in the middle of them, but I think it's all right if they are there. Now this next part is a little hard. It is, let me find it. It's on my littlest block. Here it is. This is the scarf and a little bit of cherry collar that's going to go in his hat. But I'm going to have to take it off camera because I really do have to get right over it to see how to place this correctly. And I don't want you just to see the back of my head. So, I really should have remembered to put my glasses on. Okay, I did good with the scarf, but I got a little bit too low with the line on the hat. So what I have is my cherry cobbler stamping line here, and I'm going to color that line in. I did better. I keep forgetting I need my reading glasses when I do something small like that so I can actually see it better. So I'm just going to go ahead and color that in with my marker. And there you go. See, as you can tell, I got them just a little bit low there, but I think that'll be fine. Then I'm going to get the punch. And I am going to punch them out. Try to line it up here. It's the best I can. There's one. Now I'm going to have to cut this off to fit it into the punch. This is just scrap. And now we'll try to get this one in here. See if I didn't cut enough off. Now sometimes if you didn't leave enough room to put this in and still have a place to hold, you can take a little bit of mono adhesive, put it right here, and I'm gonna like add a handle to it so that it's easier for me to fit into the punch and to move it around. So I just have to get a minute for that glue to dry. Because this one's almost big enough to hold on to, but I like to have that extra little handle in case I need to move. See, now I can just move it around how I want. I found that saves me paper sometimes. There we go. Now, we have 2 jars. They each need a lid. So, I know their lids are laying here. I cut these out of the gold foil. Just going to add a touch of glue on the jar. Or you could put it on the back of the lid. It's up to you. And then I'm going to add the lids. really hate using glue around the foil because I get it on my fingers and then I get it on the foil. Okay, so we're going to kind of let that dry a little bit so that I don't get glue on the foil. Meanwhile, we will decorate the inside. This is going to be the inside of our card, and I have over here out of Greetings of the Season. I'm not sure if it's retired or not. It might be because sometimes I still use my words from last year. But I like the font on this one. It's kind of fancy to go along with the Elegant Season DSP. And we're just going to put, oh look, I have a star. Get this straight on my glass mat. The most wonderful time of the year. I think I almost have to re-ink my cherry cobbler. And then I have this strip of paper I saved. That's going to go here at the bottom. So I'm just going to put a line of glue here. And I didn't bother cutting this down. I just left it as long as it was. And I can trim it after I get it glued on. All these cards that I'm doing are pretty quick and easy. They don't take long to make. Then I'm going to glue this in, and we'll be finished with the inside. Well, got a little glue up there, so now I don't want to close it completely because I will glue my card shut. So what happens, what do you do if that happens? I'm going to show you. Because sometimes I make I can show you how I fix some of my mistakes when I'm doing these videos. I'm going to start over with this because now I've got myself all mixed up with it. There we go. Now I got just that little bit of glue up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of wipe it with my finger a little bit to get the excess off. And then I'm going to take my embossing buddy and I'm going to kind of pounce it there, which will add that powder to it, which will take away all the stickiness. And now my card won't be glued shut. All right, jars. Now, if you wanted to, you could pop these up. I kind of just glued them down. But you're more than, it's your card, so you could pop them up if you wanted to. Put this one down here. Put this one up here. I got a little bit of glue on there. See, I should have used my stamp and seal for it instead of our glue dots for the lid. All right, so now as we have left, because we already have our Winker Stella on the snowflake side, we're going to take our Spotlight on Nature circle and our Stylish Shapes circle. And I embossed this with our Wild White powder. I just did it ahead of time so that I didn't have to walk over to the embossing station here in my room. So I'm just going, again, you could pop this up if you wanted to. You could also Stella this because it's embossed, so it won't, the ink won't run. So let's try that. I'm going to have to keep working with these Stellas and get rid of the one that doesn't work very well anymore. Quit thinking I can get another little bit out of it. So, I am just going to go all around. That's, oh, there we go. This one just put out a big bunch of it. That's what I like about Christmas cards. You can stella them up. So we're going to let that dry a little bit. And while it's drying, we'll put this in here. We'll add some embellishments. I still have another whole pack of the peppermints because I had some left from last year. And then when they came out again this year, I bought more because I just love them. And I've been trying to use them on a bunch of cards. And so I've almost got this pack finished. I think that I put one down here too. Okay. There we go. We'll glue this to our envelope. Find my envelopes. I really like this idea because so many times I have a 2-inch strip of paper left when I'm cutting out my DSP or something, and then what do you do with it? Try to make a card like this where you can use 2 different colors on the front or something, but decorating the envelope is just more fun. And plus, would it be so much fun to get an envelope decorated in the mail? So, again, I cut these at, instead of 5 1/2, I accidentally cut them at 5 1/4, so they're just not quite long enough to go to the edge of the envelope, but we're going to fix that. I just have to trim this here. This one over here. And then just so that white doesn't show, I'm just going to trim up and just take off that much of the envelope flap. Nobody's going to really notice. Do the same on this side. Okay, there's our envelope. And now I'm pretty sure this one still is pretty dry. I really got a lot on this one because I did that big glob there. I was squeezing too hard. But it's alright because it's Christmas and you can have as much glitter as you want at Christmas time. I'm going to pop this up maybe with dimensionals if I see some of my dimensionals laying here. Look at this. My dog decided that he wanted to see what dimensionals were like, and he got this off my table and chewed up that part, but I saved most of them. I don't see my regular size dimensionals. Here they are, hiding underneath the stamp set. So we'll pop this one up. And there we are. A Jar of Joy card finished. And it really only took us about 30 minutes to put it together. Thank you very much for joining me today. Join me again tomorrow afternoon for day 3 of the 12 days of Christmas cards. And I haven't decided quite yet. I think maybe tomorrow we'll do a gingerbread man card because I have, sorry about that, I have stamp sets stacked over here and I must have hit my table a little. So I love the gingerbread man one with the whole gingerbread boy, plus I have the homemade treats, which is like the baking set to make gingerbread, and I have cards to show you using that set too. Have a great afternoon. If it's snowing or cold, try to stay in. If it's warm and sunny, enjoy the day. Bye.